Welcome to your practice today. So we're going to start on our mat in a seated cross-legged position. If seated cross-legged doesn't work for you, feel free to come down onto your back into Shavasana if that's more supportive. If you're in the seated position, let your hands rest on your knees or thighs, opening up the chest. Slight tuck of your chin and then slowly closing your eyes. Drawing your attention inward. And starting to notice now the flow of your breath, moving in and out. Not having to manipulate your breath in any way in this moment. You're just observing what is there. Letting yourself arrive on your mat. Noticing how the air feels as it moves in your nose, down to your chest. And then noticing the release of that air on the exhale. Any sensations, and just a softening with that exhale. Now bringing your attention to where you are making any points of contact on the mat. So noticing where you've landed, feeling the support of the ground beneath you. Now moving up from your seat and your legs, feeling the weight of them on the mat. And feeling the weight of your hands resting on your legs. Noticing any movement of your chest and belly with every breath. On your exhale, softening your shoulders. Softening your jaw. And we're going to move through just a few breathing cycles. And we're going to inhale initially to a count of 4, and then exhale to a count of 4. So next inhale, inhaling, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. So continuing with your breath. And feel free, if you like, to lengthen the inhale to a count of 5. Your next inhale. Exhale, count of 5. Inhale, count of 5. Exhale, count of 5. Inhale now, count of 6. Exhale, count of 6. Inhale, count of 6. Exhale, count of 6. So 2 more full cycles, inhaling 6. Exhale, 6. Last one. And releasing the breathing technique, coming back to your natural breath. And taking a moment now just to tune in to your body physically. Notice physically how you're feeling. So perhaps starting down with the legs and feet, moving your attention slowly upward and just acknowledging any sensations physically in your body. Now bringing your attention to observing what's going on in your mind. So is your mind busy with lots of thoughts? If so, that's fine. Can we observe and just notice them? And if not, we can acknowledge that as well. We're just noticing and observing mentally anything that's happening with our thoughts. An unbiased observer. And then taking a moment and just noticing emotionally how we're feeling in this moment. So if we had to come up with a name for emotionally how we're feeling, just saying that quietly to yourself and just feeling it in your body, in your energy field. All right. And we're going to set our intention for a practice today. So today we are going to consciously intend to be aware of ourselves and our energy fields, physically, mentally, and emotionally. So on every level, becoming more and more aware where we're at in this moment. Okay, and when you're ready, feel free just to open your eyes. You can bring yourself back into the space. Maybe give yourself a nice deep breath in your nose, out your mouth. All right, you see Bergie has joined us. How nice. So today's practice being one themed of being, focused and aware in the moment and becoming really in tune with our bodies and our energy field. I thought it'd be nice to do a very mindful style of practice. So we'll start with just getting our bodies stretched out. I feel like today I could really use that. I feel like a little bit, just from physical activity I done earlier in the day, things are a little bit tight. So it'd be really helpful to do that first, release some of that tension, hopefully, and then becoming a little more mindful near the end of the practice. So to begin, we're just going to start by giving ourselves a little rock from side to side. There we go. And we're just going to extend our legs out and long in front of us, nice and long. So coming into staff pose. There we go. So in staff, if your hamstrings are really tight like mine are right now, you can give yourself a little bend in the knees. So we're flexing the toes towards us. We're going to inhale, arms all the way overhead. Deep breath in. And then exhale, hinging at the hips. So if you're like me, I'm really tight in the hamstrings today. Just take it nice and easy. We just come up to our edge. We don't push. We don't force. We access our deep quality of breath. This allows us naturally to go a little deeper. Couple more deep breaths. So not forcing, just allowing. Nice. And then when you're ready, you can just bring your torso all the way back up. And we're going to bring the soles of the feet together, coming into butterfly or cobbler's pose. And we're going to bring this heels towards our torso. You can hold the ankles with your hands. Inhale, get nice and tall. Exhale, hinging at the hips if that feels good. So you can come into a bit of a fold, but if you were already feeling like you were doing well in your seated version of butterfly, you can stay right there. And remember, accessing your breath. Birdie's doing her down dog and her up dog. We're going to do that later too. Deep breath. Couple more deep breaths. Are you doing your deep breaths too, Bergie? Inhale, come all the way up. I think Bergie's not enjoying our different location today. She wants to be out in the garage. Oh, I know. Do you want to go out? I can let you out. Okay. All right. You can bring yourself all the way back up into your seat. We're just going to bring the knees together. And then we can just going to cross actually our legs and we're going to come into our tabletop. So just bringing the hands in front and then our shoulders are going to be over our hands. Make sure your fingers are spread nice and wide. Toes can either be tucked or untucked. I'm going to leave mine tucked. Knees are underneath the hips. And then we're just going to flow with our breath. So inhale, belly down, chin and pelvis tilt up. Exhale, curving up the spine. So just flowing with your breath. So our beginning of our practice today, I'm really going to just do a lot of my favorite poses. And they're my favorites because they really do help to release, I find, tension and areas of the body where it tends to accumulate, shoulders and neck and hips. So hopefully it works for you as well. One more full cycle. And then after your last exhale, just inhale, coming back to your neutral tabletop position. So we're just going to walk our hands out in front, coming into our puppy pose. So arms just out in front, and our chest is going to lead down to the mat, gazes forward towards the hands, coming into puppy. So for me, I really prefer having my hips a little further back. Ideally, hips are over knees, but for me, this feels better in my body, so that's what I'm going to do. Finding your breath. Deep shoulder opener. Option here to come up on the fingertips. Tenting the fingers makes it a little deeper. Finding your breath. Couple more breaths. Last one. And on the exhale, we're just going to release down to child. So hips come back onto the heels. Arms, the elbows come down to the mat. You can turn your head to one side, resting on a cheek or on your forehead, up to you. Finding your breath. So just feeling in your shoulders, already the space, the opening you're creating in your shoulders. Taking that deep breath, feeling your belly expand on the inhale. And then exhale, softening. So another deep breath again into the belly. Feeling your diaphragm expand, and then exhale, release. Last one more just like that. Nice. And then we're going to bring ourselves back up into our tabletop. And we're going to move into thread the needle, one of my favorites for releasing any shoulder tension. So inhale, we're going to take the right arm, open up. Exhale, we're going to bring that right arm all the way down to the right shoulder. And you can come up on the left fingertips, or option to bring the left hand all the way back to the lower back. Finding your breath. And then exhale. If the left hand is up, feel free to bring it down. Bring yourself back up into your tabletop. And now we're going to transition to the other side. So inhale, left arm opens up. Exhale, left arm down and under the right, all the way down to the right shoulder. Option to keep the right fingertips on the mat, or perhaps bringing the right arm all the way back and then bending at the elbow to let the hand rest on the lower back. Finding your breath. I'm really feeling that on this side for sure. Two more breaths. And then exhaling, release. Coming back up into your tabletop. Oh, nice. Now we're going to tuck our toes, and on the inhale, lifting hips up into downward facing dog. So take a moment here in your down dog, pedal out your down dog. So one heel towards the mat, bend the opposite knee, and then move the other side. Finding your breath. Let your head just hang. Fingers are spread nice and wide. Inhale, coming up on the balls of the feet. And then exhale, let's walk to the head of the mat. Tuck my stuff. There we go. And coming into standing forward fold. So feet are about hip distance apart. Let your head, let your arms just hang. Finding your breath. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweeping the arms all the way overhead. Upward salute. Exhale, hands down through the heart center. Finding your breath. All right, arms to the sides. Inhale, flowing the arms all the way up. Exhale, hands together, hands down through the midline, hinging at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweeping the arms all the way overhead, upward salute. Hands down through the heart center. Exhale. One full breath. Inhale. Exhale, arms down to the sides. Inhale, flow all the way up. Exhale, palms together. Exhale, hands down through the midline, hinging at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Hands down to the mat. We're going to step our right foot all the way back, coming into a low lunge. So lowering down the right knee. Left knee is stacked over left ankle. Inhale, arms all the way up, low lunge. Cactus arms, if that feels good. Exhale, hands down to the mat. We're going to walk our hands now all the way back to the back knee as we lengthen that left leg and flex the left toes towards us. So inhale, coming up on the fingertips. Exhale, hinging at the hips, coming into half splits. Finding your breath. Now this one's a little bit teetery. If you have like a couple of cushions on either side, or blocks, if you have blocks at home, that would be really supportive here. Finding your breath. Drawing that left hip crease back. There we go. One more. And then exhale. Let's walk the hands forward. Bring a bend to that front knee. We're going to bring both hands down to the mat. Let's step our left foot all the way back. So we're coming into plank. Option to come into modified plank with the knees down. Up to you, yogi's choice. Deep breath in and out. One more in. And then exhale, lowering down knees, chest and chin, down to the mat. Untucking the toes. Inhale, engaging your core, coming up into cobra. Exhale, down to the mat. Tucking our toes. Inhale, lifting hips all the way up, downward facing dog. Find your breath. Nice. Inhale on the balls of the feet. Exhale, let's step our right foot all the way forward, lowering down our back knee. So in our supported low lunge now on the other side, making sure the front knee is stacked over front ankle. On the next inhale, feel free to bring the arms all the way up. Option this time if you want to clasp the hands and roll the shoulders onto the back. Find your breath. Chest is open. One more breath. And then exhale, releasing the hands to frame the front foot. And now walking both hands back as we lengthen that right leg. So flexing the right toes towards us. Let's inhale up on the fingertips, lengthening the back, and then exhale, hinging to how we feel an appropriate stretch on the right hamstrings. So drawing a gentle drawing back of that right hip crease, finding your breath. Respecting your body's limits. Just allowing, just surrendering, allowing the body to open up when it's ready. Nice. And then inhale, walking our hands forward, bringing that bend to that front knee again. This time we're going to step that back foot all the way forward, coming into the standing forward fold. Deep breath. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And when you're ready, we're going to sweep the arms all the way up. And then exhale, hands down through heart center. And then down at your sides. Finding your breath. So taking a moment here in mountain. Chest is open. Legs are engaged. And just taking a notice physically. How are we feeling? Are you noticing any space that you've created? Any sensations? Noticing mentally. What are your thoughts doing? And just emotionally how you're feeling. All right, and then slowly opening your eyes and bring yourself back to the space. So we're just going to now take a step with the right leg, just down the long edge of the mat. So we're coming into a wide leg stance. Here we go. So take the arms out to the side. We're going to inhale, flow all the way up with the arms. And then hands down through that midline again. We're going to hinge at the hips, coming into a wide leg forward fold. So in your forward fold, just finding your breath here for a few breaths. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And we're going to do a few little side lunges. So we're just going to walk our hands towards that right foot. And then we're just coming on the left ankle in a side lunge here. Finding our breath. Flexing the left toes. And then when you're ready, you can walk yourself back up through that forward fold, wide leg forward fold, and then transition to the other side. So we're walking the hands towards the left foot. We're coming on the right ankle, and we're flexing the right toes towards us. Finding our breath. Feeling the sensation in our body. So then we're going to just kind of flow now up and over to the other side. We're going to do just a couple more on each side. Just flowing more with our breath. So inhale, coming up, exhale, bend to the other side. Inhale up, exhale, other side. Let's go one more on this side. Nice. And then inhale, let's come up through our wide leg stance. Allow the head to come down towards the mat. Now, if you are not quite getting that top of the head towards the mat, feel free just to use some pillows or blocks to bring the floor up to you. Option here to clasp the hands at the lower back and then allow the hands to come towards the back of your head. So just a little bit of a deep shoulder opener here. Just let gravity do its work. Nice. And we're going to bring the hands, if they're clasped, just the lower back, and let's release the hands. And then we're going to just heel toe our feet a little closer together. We want our ankles maybe a little wider than hip distance. And then on an exhale, we're going to bring our hips down into yogic squat. So if yogic squat, it's not for everybody. If it's not really accessible today, feel free to just come down in a seated position. Okay. So if you're in the yogic squat, we're going to bring the elbows to the inner knees, palms together, thumbs pressed into the heart center. Just connecting with our breath. Again, tuning into how we're feeling. Becoming aware, inwardly aware. Present in our space. And I'm going to bring our left fingertips down to the mat. And on an inhale, we're going to open up that right arm into a bit of a twist. And our gaze can go up towards the right arm if that feels okay. One more breath. And then exhale, coming down through center. And then exhale, let's bring the right fingertips down. Inhale, let's open up that left arm. Out to the side, gaze can go up towards the left hand if it's okay on the neck. And then exhale, release. And then we can bring our seat all the way down to the mat. And then we're just going to lower our torso down onto the mat, onto our back. And we're going to bring our knees together. You can bring your feet maybe a little wider than hip distance. Bring your knees together. And we're just going to bring one hand to the heart center and one hand to our belly. So once you've arrived, just take a deep breath in and out. One more just like that. Let's fall now into your natural breath. And we're just going to take a scan of our body, just down, starting at our feet. And bringing our attention from our toes the sole of our feet, and they're connected to the mat. And the top of our feet, and our ankles, all the way up our calves and shins. Just feeling any sensation or energy that's there. Then bringing our attention up to our knees and our thighs. Just feeling any connection with the knees resting on each other. And feeling that sensation extending up the thighs all the way to our hips. And feeling our hips and our lower back connected. And the weight of our lower back and torso on the mat. So feeling our whole back connected to the mat. And feeling our belly and our chest rising with every inhale and falling with every exhale. Feeling our shoulders softened and resting on the mat. The weight of our arms and hands on our chest and belly. Relaxing our jaw and our tongue. Relaxing all the muscles of our face, even the little muscles around our eyes. Bringing our attention now back to our heart center. Feeling the energy of your heart center. Bringing to mind now someone, could be a pet, could be a family member, could be a friend, someone you enjoy spending time with. Just bringing this person to mind, maybe visualizing something you enjoy doing with this person. And just feeling as you visualize this interaction, noticing the feeling at your heart center. Really enjoying that sensation. And as that sensation grows, moving your attention now out from the heart center throughout the different areas of your body. Feeling what there is to feel throughout all the different areas of your body. Just observing what is there. Now bringing your attention just to the outer, all the way to the outer edges of your body. So the outer boundaries of your body, just feeling where that is in space and what is there to feel. Now bringing your attention to the areas beyond the outer edges of your body. Noticing if you're feeling or noticing any energy or whatever is there. Do you sense anything beyond the outer edges of your body? And just observing that. And if there's nothing in particular you're noticing, that's fine. Just taking the time to go there and just to see with curiosity. And when you're ready, feel free to just lengthen the legs long down the mat, come into your final Shavasana. Bring the arms down at your sides. Let yourself just rest for a few more moments. And when you're ready, feel free to begin to deepen your breath. Just gently bring a little movement back into your body. And when you're ready, you can guide yourself on to one side. And just pause for a few more breaths. And you can slowly, when you're ready, guide yourself back up into your seated cross-legged position. And once you arrive there, you can just close the eyes for a few more minutes. Again, bringing your attention inward. In these last final moments, perhaps just asking yourself, is there anything that I need to know at this moment? And then listening, tuning into that space, just in the physical body and then just beyond the physical body. Is there anything that I need to know in this moment? And seeing whatever comes to us. Maybe it's just observing that space, or maybe something deeper comes to you. And that's fine. Just open and allow whatever there is. All right. And then when you're ready, you can bring the hands together, thumbs pressed into the heart center in our prayer mudra. Just taking a moment of gratitude for our time and space today. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me. I hope you enjoyed this little bit of mindful time to connect with ourselves on a bit of a deeper level. Sometimes things get really busy, and it's just very, very helpful to take these few mindful moments. So thank you for doing that. Namaste.